Hi, I'm Kimberly Calderbank. Today we are on the beautiful property here at the Hamilton Aviary. Now, we might have crossed over the border between Hamilton and Halton, but as you'll get to know today, our story is intertwined with these feathery friends. Tom is the president of the board of directors here at the Hamilton Aviary. Tom, my first question, and it might be pretty obvious, why birds? Where does your passion for birds come from?
Well, I've had birds all my life since I was a toddler.
Okay.
And so I grew up around birds, and they're just such lovely creatures that it's just fascinating to have them or to be around them.
So I'd love to talk about the history of the aviary here. I was doing a little bit of research before we came, and this is actually Canada's oldest aviary, which is incredible to have here locally. Can you tell us a little bit about the aviary?
Yeah, so it's Canada's oldest aviary, and it might even be the oldest aviary in North America.
Wow.
It all started back in 1927 at Dundurn Castle, and then it remained at Dundurn Castle, operated by the city's parks department for about 70 years. And then in the late 80s, early 90s, there was budget cuts, and the city was going to shut the aviary down. But a group of citizens who loved the birds wanted to keep it going, and they offered to volunteer their time to be the caretakers for the birds. And the city agreed to that. And that's when the Friends of the Aviary was born. And so it's 100% volunteer run. And in the mid-90s, they did restoration at the Dundurn Castle, and the birds had to be temporarily moved. And they first were at the old Kenilworth Jail, and then they moved here in about 1995. And it became apparent that the birds weren't going to return to the castle, just because, to be more historically accurate for the castle, it didn't have an aviary back then. So there was an agreement that the aviary remain here temporarily, and there were studies done for where the aviary could go. And in the late 90s, early 2000s, they did the master plan for Gage Park, where they designed the new greenhouse. And the plan was that the aviary would go there. But then about 5 years ago, the plan for the aviary at Gage Park dropped off of the master plan. Okay. And so we still remain here in limbo, and we're open on a temporary basis while we search for a new home. And thankfully, last year we received a $1 million donation for a new building. But that donation isn't for land, so we're still searching for land to build on.
The building you're in currently is obviously an older building, but there's a lot of love that's going into taking care of the birds. As you mentioned, this is a volunteer-run organization. What do you hear from the volunteers when they come in on a regular basis? What drives them to come and help out with the birds here at the aviary?
They all just bond with the birds, and they're quite funny characters. And it's just hard not to love them, and you want to dedicate your time to take care of them because they have nowhere else to go.
I'm interested to hear what caretaking for these birds is. I noticed, fresh magazines and newspapers under the cages. What does a volunteer do when they're on site here taking care of the birds?
So we start off with removing their dirty water and food dishes, and clean them, and prep new food. They're given their parrot pellets and fresh fruits and veggies. And it's all a special diet that's been prescribed by our vet. And we miss the birds because it's important for them to have humidity to help with the dander on their feathers and to keep them happy and healthy. And then we change all of the newspapers at the bottom of the cages to give them a new lining. And then once all the cleaning and the feeding is done, the volunteers have time to spend time socializing with the birds because it's very important for them to have that socialization.
Yeah, well, we have a guest joining us right now. Jessie has come out, and Jessie is one of the most social birds here, I would say. But it certainly is a really cool vibe inside when you get to chat with the birds and really get to communicate. What is your vision Tom, for the aviary? What is your hope and dream? Where do you hope the aviary will go in the future?
We're still keeping an open mind on where we could go in terms of searching for a location, but we would love to be Canada's premier aviary and a sanctuary for parrots who become homeless at no fault of their own.
Mm-hmm. How many birds are there here on site at the aviary?
We have 17 medium to large parrots, and we have a handful of cockatiels and a few finches.
Okay, thank you. This is Emmeline and her friend King. Emmeline is a volunteer here at the aviary. How long have you been volunteering here?
So on and off, I've been volunteering for a couple of years. I've actually been the volunteer coordinator since, I believe, March. So in charge of kind of wrangling and controlling, wrangling all the volunteers.
Yes.
So I restarted during COVID. So I've been here minimum 3 days a week for myself since January. Just helping out with the birds, cleaning. I'm on several shifts. We do morning feeding shifts.
Okay.
Then we also have a Thursday night disinfectant crew where we come in and we get to spend a bit of time in the actual birds' enclosures with them. So they get to become pretty close with us.
And how many volunteers do you have here at the aviary to keep things moving, being a fully volunteer-driven organization?
Currently, because of COVID restrictions, gentle bud, gentle. Because of COVID restrictions, we have about 21, and we're all on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like set day shifts.
Okay.
And of course, following COVID screening protocols, when we're fully operational, we have anywhere between 25 to about 40.
Wow.
With alternating crews. A lot of our numbers do go up when school is in because people can get their volunteer hours through us.
Right. Okay. And I asked the same question of Tom. Why birds? Where does your passion come from for the birds?
So it comes from a couple places. So my Nana actually used to work at Dundurn Castle as tours. So my first experience with the original aviary was there, and then obviously in the 90s it did move here. So it's kind of that connection where no matter where she is, I have that connection with her. Hey, handsome. And then also, because it was something free to do for me and the kids, and we just fell in love with the birds once we found out their personalities. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fan of dinosaurs, and it's the closest I'm ever gonna get to one. So.
And so being a volunteer, obviously right now you're not driving and looking for volunteers, but post-COVID, you'll be back open looking for volunteers. What type of volunteer opportunities can people coming on site look for?
So for volunteer opportunities, there's obviously the morning feeding crews. That's the big one. So you come in early morning, you come in, feed, do a quick clean of the cages, and then you get to spend time with the birds until we do our tours, which more experienced volunteers can start doing.
Okay.
And then we also have our evening cleaning crews, our evening misting crews and water change, where you come in and the birds love to get showered, a lot of them. So they come in and they get to dance in the waterfall there, and and then the private tours are kind of where a lot of people like to be, because you do get more one-on-one time explaining the personalities and whatnot of each bird to visitors.
Okay.
So there's tons of volunteer opportunities there.
Wonderful. What is your hope for the aviary? It's been around for so many years. Where do you hope it will land? What do you hope to see happen for the aviary?
I hope to see growth for the aviary. I hope to see more people come out and meet these amazing animals. Yes, handsome. I know. I hope for people to come and be educated and just spend time with the birds, because they are quite intelligent, and just build a community around them and of education and animal stewardship, essentially. So.
Well, you've certainly built a community here through your volunteers and through everybody we've met, and certainly through the birds. How does it feel being a part of this? Why do you come back day after day?
Because the birds are amazing. You get to know them, you really do. Hey, would you please? So just knowing that you're doing a good thing for the community as well is a big thing. When you go outside with the birds after your cleaning is done, and you see all these kids and their families come up, and just know that you get to be a part of that, introducing them to the birds and watching people get excited to come and hear and dance with the birds. So.
Okay, and to wrap up, because I know King wants to have a little bit of an intro, can you tell us a little bit about King here?
So King is an African gray parrot. He is a ball of energy. He actually has a favorite perch in the washroom. We call it his office.
Oh, in the washroom. Okay.
So if you are here and you do see a parrot in the washroom, fear not. He's just doing a lot of business. He's about 11 years old, and he has the intelligence of about a 3-year-old.
Wow.
He mimics a lot of noises rather than speaking. He does say a couple words here and there. Yes, and he is such a show-off, isn't he? Yes, you are. So you'll often hear him mimic cell phone noises, car alarms, door unlocks. Yes, I know. And then also, for reading time, he likes to eat the books.
Oh, wonderful.
He really likes to get into the subject matter.
Okay. So. Well, thank you very much, Emmeline and King.
Thank you.
Alice is a volunteer here at the aviary. Alice, you've been mentioning that you've been here since you were in grade 5. So you've been a volunteer for quite some time. What's your favorite part about being a volunteer here at the aviary?
I really like parrots a lot, like any kind of bird even. And coming here to help them was like a really good option for me because I was thinking about getting a parrot myself.
Okay.
Which I now have, but they're very cute. They're fun to work with. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it because like you get to see them be happy. You can play with them when you're done all your work, and yeah.
I would think you also get to know all of the other volunteers here as well and sort of get to build relationships not only with the birds, but with the volunteers as well. Do you enjoy that aspect and socializing with the other volunteers? What's the best part about being here with them?
Sometimes even just like teamwork can help. Sometimes you'll go to get dishes and they won't be ready. You just ask the person kindly and to help you. Or with cleaning cages, I'm usually doing it with a partner and we usually get along to get the cages done because sometimes birds will like a certain person to do the work. So you'll ask someone else to do it if you can't do this bird. And yeah.
What if you were pitching out to other people to say, hey, come volunteer at the aviary or come visit us at the aviary? What would you say to make your friends or other families want to come and check out the aviary?
It's a fun experience to check out. One, people don't see parrots that often, especially in Canada, but this is also the oldest aviary. It was 1927, and a lot of the parrots here do love human interaction, and they don't get it that often with COVID, so when people check it out now, they'll be like pretty excited that people are coming back.
Who's this guy right here that's joined us for the interview?
This is Coco, the Congo African Grey. He's the oldest parrot we have here at 63 years old. His lifespan is about 70. And he likes to say bye-bye when you're leaving if he sees people putting coats on. And he likes to say hi, Coco, as well. But he's very, very friendly.
That's the fun part, is sort of all of the different personalities and really getting to know the birds. If you were to have a vision or a hope for what the aviary would look like in the future, what do you want the aviary to be?
I would like an aviary to be a bit less crowded for the parrots since they're fairly big animals. And it's a better environment. It's not in an old broken down building. We'll have a better built building with more space and possibly more spaces for new parrots to bring in, if that's needed too. And it would be a lot better air quality for the birds as well.
Thank you. Joining me now is Ken and his friend Snowball here. Ken, how long have you been volunteering here at the aviary?
Well, this actually is my second stint. I started volunteering back in 1997, and I was here right through to the end of 2001, and then I went deaf. No, at the end of 2001, I had to leave because of work.
Okay.
I couldn't come in the morning to volunteer, but last fall, I noticed on Facebook that somebody from the area was making masks for COVID. So I sent a message to Stephanie here, I'd like to come and buy some masks. So came down, did the tour with my daughter, and she said, so Ken, when are you coming back to the aviary? Okay, I got sucked back in again. So I've been coming here since November now.
It's funny, we hear that often when we talk to people about volunteering. They say, I was right back in. It sort of is a part of you almost, and it becomes a big passion of yours. Where does your passion for birds come from?
Oh, I just had budgies. When I was growing up, we had a budgie, and I own one. Real piece of work. Kelly, he had over 100 words, Mr. Personality. Wow. And when he died, it broke my heart, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I got to get a bigger bird, something that'll last longer. And I got an African gray parrot.
Okay.
And I had him for 33 years, I think. And for some reason he got sick and he did die. But I lost a big companion there.
Yeah.
But I like the birds. I find I get along with them. All
Except for this
appearances to
guy.
contrary.
Yeah.
She's biting me today. She doesn't want to come out. But I don't mind losing a little blood. And if you want to get close to the bird, you have to be willing to shed your dignity to be interesting to
Yeah.
them, right? And that's what gets them. If you're an interesting person, they'll get friendly with you. You can handle them. And, I just like the fact the aviary's here and I want to help out. So
They all have such unique personalities, and some of them have so many words and are, chirping back at us as we're talking to them. That's a great part of volunteering, connecting with them as well.
Yep.
What brings you back day after day to help out here?
Well, I committed myself to be a volunteer and to help with the birds, so I do it. It lasted for almost 5 years the first time, and now who knows this time, right? But it's just fun to come down and interact and help out because a lot of people in the city don't know this is here, including city councils. If you're reading the news last year, and they need to come in sometime and see what we've got here. And it's a place where we can look after birds that have been given up or need shelter for some reason.
So the aviary is looking, obviously, as we've spoken throughout the day today, is looking for a new home and is in a little bit of an ebb and a flow right now. What is your vision and dream for the aviary moving forward?
Ooh. You probably have to talk to a member of the executive about that, but obviously we'd like to be in a nicer place.
Yeah.
This is an old building, and definitely shows signs of wear, but still, we keep it clean for them and all that sort of thing. It'd be nice to have a nice building. We take an existing building and convert it to an aviary. Mm-hmm. We got, I guess, the $1 million donation, and you can't build a really good aviary for $1 million, but you could certainly fix a place up, I think, to act as an aviary. So,
There's
wherever they'll go, I'll follow.
There's some work to be done, but it sounds like there's some passionate volunteers and executive and board members here to help make that happen. What would you say to the community? Why come check out the aviary? What's the best part about the aviary?
People interacting with the birds. Like right now, there's summer camps going on over here in Churchill Park.
Yeah.
The counselors are bringing the kids over here every day, and their nose up to the cage, and we bring the birds up for them. The kids get a kick out of talking to the birds. The birds put on a show for them, and they put a show on for the birds. It's kind of fun.
It's really interesting. It's like a little community right here of feathered friends and of volunteers working together. I imagine that's what drives you and keeps you coming back.
Yeah, I can see that. I see people, they're walking by and they hear these birds squawking, and they know that's not a robin or cardinal, and they'll come over and realize what's here. Sometimes they find it by accident. They don't see the signs, but yeah, it's fun just coming down, be part of the community, help out. It's one of the things I do. So.
It's a pretty special place. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tom, you've been with the organization for over 20 years, and you keep coming back. What's so important about the aviary to you?
It's the connection with the birds. You really fall in love with these guys. It's hard not to. And this here is Flint and Millie. And they were the first parrots I ever held in my life. And I keep coming back because they're my friends, they're all my friends, and I want to see them well taken care of. The best part is when you have members of the public visits and seeing the joy in the faces for seeing the parrots. Some of them see the parrots for the first time or hearing them talk for the first time. And parrots just love drama, and they love the reactions of the visitors.
This is a really cool concept, the reading program, that you have students in to read and connect and engage with the birds. Can you tell us a little bit about the program?
Yeah, so like we were saying earlier, the parrots have the intelligence of about 4-year-olds, and they love drama, they're curious, they love attention, and much like with people who are naturally curious, they can come together for a love of reading, and it's an opportunity for enriching for the birds to have someone spend time with them, and they like to look at the pictures and all the colors on the pages, and it's exciting for everyone.
Good morning, Dogman. I'm fixing ADHD. Ring, 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 ring. Dogman, it's me, Chief. You're late again. Get to work now. Woohoo! Hello there. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Mrs. Suspicious Flame.
Since 1927, the Hamilton Aviary has been a safe haven for birds from all around. The oldest aviary in Canada. It's a beautiful place to come and spend the day with family and friends, and some feathery friends as well.
Hi, I'm Huntley Lalowette. Thank you for watching Community Cultures.